All right, let's talk about pilot and medical certificates. Another discussion page here for this section. Your pilot certificate has been issued without an expiration date. It's valid for life then. There are certain requirements that you must maintain in order to be pilot in command on it. The first two is flight review. Or the first one's flight review rather. And the other ones would be the required takeoffs and landings if you're carrying passengers. So your privileges are valid as long as you have a flight review. The back of your pilot certificate tells you what your qualifications are. That's where we have our aircraft category, our class rating, if you're instrument rated, and if you're type rated. In addition, if there's any limitations that will be located on the back here. So we can see this pilot is a commercial pilot. They're rated in the airplane, both single and multi-engine land. They are also instrument rated in the airplane. And then they have type ratings there, CE 501, so that's a citation, and the LR, the Learjet. The limitations down there, they have put in the limitation for the citation and the Learjet as second in command privileges only. This section down here would also be where they put in the limitation for non-instrument rated commercial pilot. Talk about calendar month concept. FAA does just about every time period with the calendar month. That just means that it's valid until the last day of that month. Something that was issued in March 15th of 2018, it's valid for 12 calendar months. You would get to the end of March 2019 for its valid period. Taking a look at it, if you're just to diagram it out, here we are in March in the blue area, March 15th. We actually start our counting on the first of the next month, first day of April. That's when we start counting. And then we continue all the way to the end of March in the following year. So that's your calendar month concept. Most of you got that down. I do run into people that kind of mix that up a little bit. It's important because medical certificates are issued with a duration for the certificate itself, and then privileges that have a certain duration as well. I'll use that calendar month concept. So helping you understand medicals, they are age dependent. 40 years old is the cutoff point, under 40 or 40 and over. Under 40, we have a valid period of 60 calendar months. And the 40 and over has the valid period of 24 calendar months. That's from date of issue, right? Using the calendar month concept. So that piece of paper you have is valid for that long, but what can you use it for? And the privileges are what change on it, right? So if you're issued with a first class medical, 4 years later, you still have a first class medical, but the privileges are what have changed during that time period. So for example, if you wanted to exercise privileges as a private pilot on that certificate, you could do so for 60 months. So your certificate's valid for 60 months. You have private pilot privileges for that entire 60-month period. If you are ATP rated pilot, then if you have a first class medical, you could exercise those privileges for 12 calendar months. After 12 calendar months, you still have the first class medical. You just can't exercise first class privileges on it. If you wanted to exercise commercial pilot privileges, only that second class is needed, and it's valid for 12 calendar months as well. Of course, that's on the, if you're under 40 years old. Things change slightly, 40 and older. You only have 24 months of private pilot privileges. You have 12 months of second class privileges and only 6 months of first class privileges. Again, certificate doesn't change, it's the privilege level.
Was 6 months and further 6 months in second.
You could think of it in terms of a 6, 6, and 12. All right, technically incorrect. All right, technically not incorrect either. Right, let me explain that. So for this pilot who's 40 or older, they could start out their morning as an ATP. Have their airline captain hat on, they go fly passengers around. The afternoon, they can take off their captain's hat and they can put on a corporate pilot jacket and you go fly corporate. Now, corporate only requires that second class privilege. Okay. And at the end of the afternoon, that pilot can take off their corporate jacket and go get their spouse and go on that, $100 hamburger run. That's third class privileges. That's all in the same day. Okay. They run concurrently. So I'm going to have 6 months of first class privileges. At the same time, I'm going to have 12 months of second class. At the same time, I got 24 months of third class privileges. Now, from your perspective, at the end of that first 6 months, there are 6 months remaining in second class. And after that, 6 months is ended, there's 12 months remaining in third class. But I like to think of it as everything running concurrently on that. All right. So flight instructors are not required to hold a second class medical. Just the third class.
So that'd be every 60 months then if you're under 40?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Now, if a flight instructor wants to do any for hire operations on the side, they need the second class.